Hi, and welcome to Screens in Focus, the podcast where we talk about TV and movies. I'm Diana, and today we are talking about Daryl Dixon, episode 4. Wow, we're at episode 4, Renee. I can't believe it. How are you, Renee?
I am very well excited to talk about the episode. How about you?
I'm very excited to talk about the episode. So much happened. I was
Mhm.
bursting at the seams. So we are going to start off with our question of the day, and then we'll let you think about it. We'll think about it, and we'll answer it a little bit later on in the podcast episode. So, the question of the day is, which character do you think Laurent would connect with most back at home, and why? Okay. Because he might be traveling with our friends to the Commonwealth. So we'll have to see who Renee picks, because I'll be really curious. Also, our question of the day last week was, how would Daryl react to a loss? Like, how would he take it if he lost someone? And we had a listener leave us a voicemail, which was very exciting. I love hearing from all of you. So it was great to actually get a voicemail. So I'm going to see if I can play this. Okay. I'm probably going to have to read it. Okay. This is what they said. Hi there. This is to answer the question of the day for the Daryl Dixon episode. I think that if Isabel does unfortunately not make it, and then she alludes to seeing spoilers, which she thinks that she's not going to make it. Okay. Because this is last week before we saw this week's. And she says, I mean, we've seen him suffer through the loss of Beth, and he went off on his own. And he just wasn't the same. He was beside himself. I believe with Glenn also, he was really hurt. Maybe if they plan it right, that he might lose someone, but he'll gain Carol. And she does reference that she's not talking about in a romantic relationship, but just that he'll have Carol, to be there for him. That is the gist of answering the question of the day. So that was her reaction to it. And I hadn't thought about, when we were talking about, I didn't even think about Beth or Glenn. I was just kind of thought about the current happenings. So I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I agree because I think I might have mentioned that he's gone off in the past when he's lost someone. We saw it with Beth, we saw it with Rick, we saw, where he's just done his lone wolf thing. And, with Glenn, it was hurt, but it was also, that was guilt because that was, his fault. And so it was I agree with some of what she said for sure.
Yeah, it was Negan's fault.
Well, we'll
Wasn't
discuss that another
Daryl's
time.
fault. Wasn't Daryl's fault.
Daryl hit Negan. If Daryl didn't hit Negan, he wouldn't have killed
Well,
the
wait,
second
did
victim.
he hit him? I can't even remember. I hate seeing that scene. He
I
actually hit
know.
him. I thought he just got up and did something. I can't
No, I'm pretty
remember
sure he
now.
hit him, and that's why he had Dwight grab him and throw him in the van and kill
Okay,
Glenn.
okay, so people let us know that too, okay? Correct us on, or
Just one person's opinion.
correct me on this.
And
But
I'm a diehard Daryl fan, and I'll stand on that hill that it was his fault.
yeah, it's not his fault. He didn't know that was going to happen. Whose fault is it
The
that
man's
someone else?
bashing in skulls. You probably should calm down a little, Daryl. Just wait till let this play out. No, it was horrible. I hate that episode. Gosh, I hate that episode.
I hate that episode too. It's horrible. But anyway, back to Daryl Dixon. We're going to discuss the deaths that happened and the loss that he suffers here. So, okay, we're going to get to that in just a moment. I wanted to check in with you, Renee, to see if you had any news that you wanted to bring up before we actually dig
Well,
into the episode.
yeah, if everybody tuned into anything going on at New York City Comic Con, we learned that Dead City comes back in the spring of 2025, and we got a little teaser clip. And Negan has his leather jacket and Lucille 2.0 or whatever version of that. I don't remember where we're at with what version of Lucille he's on now. So that'll be very interesting to see how all that plays out. And one thing that really stood out with the teaser to me was Maggie's saying, right now the quote has escaped me, but she says something about why talking to someone. We don't know that she's talking to Negan, but she's like, why are you so ready to go back? So she really could be talking to, she could be talking to other, like Pearlie Armstrong or, somebody like that. But it kind of, it makes us think she's kind of speaking to Negan. And then I remember that she doesn't know that he had that conversation with the Dama and all that she had done, with the conversations with Herschel and his pinky toe. I don't know that she knew about that, and all those things. So, anyways, it's just going
Yeah.
to be interesting to see because she's probably not talking to Negan because he was already there. But it was just made me think a lot. But anyway, it was a great little teaser clip to see what's coming in the next season. So, spring 2025, Dead City is coming back. And I think they have 8 episodes, if I remember. I want to say that this season has 8 episodes for them.
Maybe that's the extra 2. Remember brought it up. I said, "Oh, with
Yeah,
Daryl
you thought there was
Dixon."
something.
And
Mhm.
I'm thinking, I thought somebody was giving us extra 2 episodes somewhere. So maybe it was this
Yeah,
I
I
was
want to say
thinking
it's Dead
about.
City that gets 2 episodes extra. They're going to have 8, I believe. So I would have to look that up for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's so. Anyway,
Ah,
exciting, and we got Kim Coates joining this season, which I'm very
yes.
excited to see him. He's going to be a
Yes.
great bad guy, and again, the name escapes me of the new gal that's joining. They've announced a girl, and I can't think of her name, but they did do a teaser picture of her in
Mhm.
character, so that was kind of neat to see a new person too. So yeah, exciting news coming.
That's very exciting. I was hoping that you would bring that up. So I'm so glad that you did.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna get into this episode. I may have not said thank you to our listener for leaving us a voicemail. We really do appreciate that so much. So, anyone out there, we would love to hear from you. And of course, to get in contact with us is in our show notes. And I'll give out our phone number a little bit later on, but that is also in the show notes. So you can reach out to us and let us know what you think about this episode or anything that we talk about, or to correct me in not remembering that Daryl hit Negan. But anyway, we're gonna get to this episode because so much happened. It was shocking deaths, emotional reunions, and just major developments. I was like, oh my gosh, all this stuff happened. And it was longer than usual, too. A longer episode. So what of all these deaths, well, all these deaths, there was a multiple deaths. What struck you? What do you want to talk about first?
Well, Isabel, because I think that's forefront on everybody's mind because
Yeah.
it was very unfortunate. I wasn't real shocked because I kind of thought with Carol come, it just seems like they always can only have one person in Daryl's life. He can only have one person. He can't have, you know what I mean? And I was sad because I like her a lot, and I was hoping there was a lot of potential. So I feel like a lot has been lost by her loss, like for even us as fan
Yeah.
viewers watching it, but
Yeah.
for Daryl especially. But I think I do. I mean, I feel like she was one of the best new characters in this series, and so
Mhm.
I was very excited to have her hopefully join them. And I really was very excited to see more. Like I liked what we saw with her and Carol. That was Carol didn't know who this girl was, and she just takes care of her and stuff and does her
Yes.
thing. And I loved that, but I was hoping to see more of them together with Daryl because I thought that would be such
Yeah.
a that dynamic could have gotten very interesting. So I was really hopeful for that. So I was really sad about her death, and I didn't like it. And to see Daryl go through that, of course, we always are sad when Daryl's sad.
Yes.
So yeah, so I was really sad about her death. I don't know what you thought about Isabel's death. And
Well, of course, I was it's like I kinda said it last week, right? When I got that inkling, I'm like, "Wait a minute," and I
yeah,
didn't get the inkling from anything but watching the episode. I hadn't
hmm
heard about it, I didn't realize she wasn't cast in the, future season. I didn't know anything. I got that feeling from watching the latest episode. So,
hmm
then here, of course, you could see what was happening. But what I did appreciate about before her death was her standing up for her beliefs with Losang
hmm
and just telling him about Laurent being a human being and that he bleeds. And yet, yes, he's hope. Yes, he's humanity. Yes, he's what people need. He can give people hope, but he's still human and he still can
hmm
die. And then how he says, "Oh, this is Daryl talking," and she's all, "No, he woke me up to false prophets, and that's,
hmm
now I see." And so, oh my gosh, I just
Yeah,
thought that
right.
was yeah, I thought that was really great moment for her,
Mhm.
And then I was still kind of holding out hope that maybe she would not die, and I knew it was probably going to be Carol to save her, because at that point Daryl is still
Yeah.
locked up. Yeah,
Yeah, he was still locked up, yeah.
still locked up.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, when he does come out and he's all, no, 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 and it reminds me of the times when death has impacted him that way. That's sort of his reaction,
Yeah.
and even his brother, with his
Mhm.
brother dying too.
Yeah.
God, I'm thinking of all these deaths that have
Mhm.
happened to him or around him or people he has cared about. But yeah, so I just thought it was totally devastating. I'm sad to lose her. I'm sad that she won't be on the show anymore. But I mean, it's The Walking Dead, right?
Yeah.
And if they didn't do it, it would almost be like, oh yeah, they're always giving us these false almost dying. So it kind of served its purpose too.
Mhm.
Poor Daryl.
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
so the other big death was Genet. I
Mhm.
was shocked. So tell me what
Mhm.
you thought about this. Did you see it coming?
No, well, I mean, at that, not up until they're standing there with her, then I'm like, she's dead, but before that, no, I expected her to last. I mean, I thought maybe she'd die at the end or whatever, but I didn't
Yeah.
expect them to do it this early because we still have two whole episodes left, and so
Yes.
it's like, I mean, I get that Losang is, a contender for the new big bad, but he is he's not Genet. I mean, she is ruthless. I mean, that woman has no remorse, I mean, she's just, I mean, I think Losang's losing his mind, but I don't think
Yeah.
he's the evil that she is. And so, no, I was sad to lose. I was sad, I mean, she's such a great actress and does such a great job at that. Just cold hearted. She just did such a fabulous job. And so I was surprised, very surprised. And again, she's another one I hate to lose because I think she's just done a phenomenal job as the villain.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it'll be interesting to see where this goes the last two episodes then.
Yeah, I was like I said, I was totally shocked, like shocked so bad. I thought, she's not supposed to die yet. We just learned of her backstory, and she's the villain. She's the one that they have to fight with
Mhm,
till the end. So it blew my mind, and I
mhm,
love it. That's why I think this episode was so exciting, because so many moments just blew my mind. And then the fact that Carol shot her with that serum
mhm.
and the reaction she had, and she's like trying to get, it's like that itch you're trying to get on your back
Yes.
and you can't reach it. You're like, I can't reach
That's
it.
right.
And then she sees herself in the mirror, seeing her face contort and change and morph, and she became like this monster. I thought it was the coolest thing.
Mhm.
I'm sure Greg Nicotero had so much fun
Yes.
doing this, you know, makeup and everything else, because
Mhm,
that was one of the coolest things I've
mhm.
ever seen. It
And what
was
a poetic
so
death,
cool.
I mean, it's like she did this and this is what she's been doing to people, and then she has to
Yeah.
watch herself transform. I was like, "Oh my gosh. Now this is good storytelling."
Yes. Yes. Woo, I thought that was good.
Yeah.
So the other big thing that happened here was Daryl and Carol's reunion that we were waiting for, and their journey too. So let's
Mhm.
talk about first their reunion. What did you think? How'd you feel?
You're not gonna like my answer. I was like, that was it. To me, it was just like they just replayed Terminus and their reunion there. It was
True.
exactly the same. I was like,
Yeah.
that's all we're getting. I was so disappointed. I really was.
Aw.
I
Yeah.
was like, I was so looking forward to it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not like Carol's number one fan here, but I like Carol, and I like Carol
Yeah.
and Daryl together because they're always so
Yeah.
good together. So I was very excited about this, and I was like, kidding me? So I was very, very disappointed because I was like watching, thinking, okay, that was exactly how it happened when they reunited after Terminus. And it was basically the same thing. And so yeah, not too happy with it.
What did you
Sorry.
expect, do you think? Were you hoping for what do you know what you were hoping for?
Just something more dramatic. I think more Carol coming in, guns blazing. I mean, I know she did, but it was just, to me, it was just so she blew up Terminus and then she reunites. She kills some
Yeah.
of the, these people, and then they reunite. And so
Yeah.
the lead up to it was great, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But like I liked some of that part of it. Like anyway, I just thought it was so quick. How long is this? That was the other question I had in mind. How long has it been since she found out he was in France and she's already found? It was just so rushed and everything. But no, I expected the reunion to be a lot more dramatic. And I don't know what in my brain. I didn't really have
Yeah.
like a play out of that. Just more dramatic, I guess. And
Yeah.
so,
I can see that.
mhm,
I can see what you're saying. And it
mhm,
was similar to Terminus.
mhm.
I did get chills though. It did. I got chills up and down my arm when they hugged
Mhm.
because I felt like I felt it, the love that they have for each other because I know in real life as actors and as
Yeah.
people, they really care about each other. So I
Mhm,
was reading a little bit about how important that scene was
mhm,
for them. So to me, I felt it for them. But
mhm.
yes, I can hear what you're saying and I can understand how you wanted something different or a
Yeah.
little bit more. Someone
Mhm.
coming in from somewhere, I don't know
I
where,
don't
and
know.
swooping up, shooting with the Carol
Yeah, breaking
swinging
down walls. I
swinging
don't know.
from a yeah, swinging on a branch or
John
something.
McClane style coming in. I
Yes.
don't know.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Shooting
So
everybody up, and Daryl's like, "What
yes,
the hell's happening
like
here?"
it's Carol. Yeah, I don't know, but I did appreciate his reaction after the first hug, and then he looked back at her, and he just that
Yeah.
emotion just caught. That was very good Norman Reedus acting there because that part did get me. Yeah, so I did like
See?
that because he needed that emotional release, and he
Uh,
needed to see that familiar person. So I
yeah.
will say I wasn't 100% a letdown because that last bit of him and that emotion
Yeah.
really did I did like that a lot.
Yeah. It was good. I love how he looked at her again, and then
Just
see? This is why I got chills. All right. So there was a journey, and I thought it was very cool to watch them throughout this whole episode. So many things. So there were some things that resonated with me. So, what did you think? What stuck out to you about what they talked about during this
well,
episode?
I don't know. There was a lot of weird things, like the whole who came back, and that again, that was another big letdown. I'm like, that's all you. There was so much potential for. I mean, they could have gone anywhere with that. There was so much. I've written several articles about other people, other outlets. Media outlets have written all these like, what could it be? Like analyzing, over analyzing, and then it was a feeling. I was like, what? I mean, and then they don't even elaborate. Like that's all. I had
Yeah.
a feeling what? And I just felt, I mean, maybe I missed it, but was there any elaboration on what her feeling was?
I thought when I went back and watched it the second
Mhm.
time, now I might be not
Yeah.
totally clear on this, but my thought was I don't know if I'm getting this confused with why she left or not, but she said everything got really quiet
Mhm.
and something about ghosts were haunting, or I
Mhm.
got the feeling that she was thinking too much, like
Mhm.
Sophia and
Yeah.
everybody else, and that she had to get out of there. And I got the feeling like it was her being unsettled and having sort of like these ghosts revisiting her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what she meant by it's back
Mhm.
or whatever it is. So
Yeah.
she needed to get
That
out of
thing.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I just was like, I don't. To me, it wasn't like I again that I expected way more. I think everyone expected more there.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
get it does. I mean, I can see Carol in that setting of that too quiet because she's got to be doing things and she's got to be she's a busy
Yeah.
she likes to be involved and do things, and so if it got too quiet then I could see where
Yeah.
those goes well, like that, we had that episode where she kept seeing all the kids, they were coming
Yeah.
back at her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that makes sense then. Maybe I just didn't maybe I was just like that was it, and I kind
I
of tuned out
know.
for a little bit.
I know. Because we all had speculations about what that could mean.
Oh man, people were just all over the place with that. It was so
Yeah.
fun reading all those articles that people were
Yeah.
writing about what it could be.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that kind of stuck out to me. But I think after, so then, as disappointed as I was with the reunion part of it, I loved what happened next with them. They're, like the conversations. I don't know, like I felt like there were just a lot of off, and they haven't seen each other for a while, so it's just like whatever. They were maybe forced, maybe that was intentional to make them feel a little bit awkward with each other because it's been a bit. But I did like their journey to, was it Theo and is it Dee? Was it Dee Dee?
Dee
Is that,
Dee,
yeah? I like that there. Just how they got there and then trying to do these things. It was interesting to see all that. And then back at the cave too. That was, Daryl's like, obviously he could
Ah,
tell that Laurent had been there and he knew, and somebody, he saw the extra footprints at one point, knowing that there was someone else with them and that kind of thing. So, that made it really interesting. But I felt that the whole Theo and Dee Dee thing was very predictable. How many times, I mean, just in this series alone,
yeah.
Daryl meets somebody and they whatever. And then Theo keeps going on about how, oh, we had these different military interactions he's had throughout the years and how he's always this. I'm thinking, so why wouldn't he give these guys whatever they wanted kind of thing? I don't know. I just felt it was very predictable because he had mentioned they've seen all these different military
Yeah.
units come through, different Nazis and Americans and everybody else, and that gave him food or done whatever and dealt with them. So I guess I felt like, well, he's going to, betray Daryl and Carol. So I kind of thought that was a little predictable.
So much stuff.
I know.
So their journey I thought was, so when I watched it the first time I enjoyed it, but it
Mhm.
wasn't until the second time that I really saw their dynamic and their relationship. And when they were traveling at first, and he brings up that phrase that I'm not going to try and say because I took French, by the way, in high school.
Me
And so
too.
did Carol. And so did Carol.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she got her knuckles slapped with that ruler too. But the look on her face when she turns to him when he does speak French, and she just has this look on her like laughing, like she thinks it's so amusing, and then he
Mhm.
looks at her, and just the way they react to each other, you don't get to see that with anybody else
Mhm.
during this apocalypse because everybody
Mhm.
has to be more serious,
Mhm.
or whatever it might be. And to see these two, because they've known each other for so long, they've been friends for so long, that they're able to laugh at each other this way.
Yeah.
And you see their relationship going through all kinds of things. We see them both going through grief different ways. Daryl not wanting to lose Laurent, losing Isabel, Carol going through, what it was to lose Sophia,
Mhm.
and having that come back to her, and having Dee Dee there to support her and to uplift her and to
Mhm.
let her know, like, hey, I got through this, so will you. And
Mhm.
which was exactly what Carol needed. It was
Mhm.
so perfect that this person was there for her.
Mhm.
And Daryl in the background watching that, and how Daryl first doesn't want to accept being responsible for Laurent,
Mhm.
and Carol kind of pushing him like,
Yeah.
this is your responsibility. And they're kind of butting heads on
Yeah.
that aspect of it.
Mhm.
And but I enjoy that because there's moments when they laugh, there's moments when they're butting heads,
Mhm.
there are moments when they're fighting like a couple, like in the car
Yeah.
when he's all let up, and she's all, I thought I was letting up. How do I know when to whatever? And he says this, she says, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can totally relate to this because when you've been with somebody for a while, this is kind of the
Yeah.
dynamic sometimes that you get into. So I loved watching Daryl and Carol's relationship in this. I really did. It was so good to me to watch
Mhm.
all of those things. I don't know. Did you have any more thoughts on that?
Well, I wondered why Daryl kind of changed his tune about Laurent. I was like, well, he was like saying, she said something about, oh, he'll get along so well with whatever and this and that, and then he's like, yeah, well, he has friends here too. And I was like, well, why would you?
Yeah.
I mean, that you just said you didn't want to lose him, and then what do you? So I didn't understand that, and we didn't get
I
much more on that. And
do you think he meant I don't want to lose him as meaning death? Like he didn't want him to die is what I
well,
think he didn't want. I
well,
don't know that he
possibly, but
meant.
I mean, why
Yeah.
would you leave him in Paris then with everybody that wants
Yeah.
to give him a walker bite, that is
Yeah.
going to kill him? So yeah,
Yeah.
I just didn't understand. Now I understand. Maybe he's just thinking he can't do it by himself first. I don't know. I just thought that was odd, especially with all these people who want to kill him. They want to use him as something that, I mean, I suppose he can give hope to humanity and things, but the boy's going to
Yeah.
die if they bite him with a
Yeah.
walker. So yeah, I just that part I didn't quite understand. But again, it might be like you said, he just didn't meant more of that he didn't want him to die, which that makes sense. So, but yeah, I guess it was just overall, it was fun seeing them together again. I think I've said it before where it's like, it doesn't matter what happens between these two. They always come, they can have a big fight where they don't agree or whatever, go their separate ways and then come back. Just, it just shows you their true, I always say kindred spirits because they
Yeah.
are, they're, it's more than just a friendship, but I don't feel it's a romantic thing, but it is definitely more than just a regular friendship. These two are just, yeah, they're
Yeah.
just very compatible. So it is fun to see them together again.
Yeah. Yeah. And I do like how all those moments that Carol brought up people back home, it was
Yeah.
nice to hear their names. I don't know, there's
Mhm.
just something about mentioning Judith and Connie, and because at first she's a little bit concerned, like, does he not want to come back home? It's like,
Mhm.
oh, I got a plane. We can got a, a deal going on over here. We can get on it, and everybody misses you. And she starts putting out names. And I feel like she's trying to get him like, okay, remember all
Yeah.
this? Don't forget about all these people that care about
Mhm.
you. And she gives later on how she gives him the little thing that Judith made for
Yeah.
him. And he lays back and he looks at it. And I think, God,
Mhm.
he misses Judith
Mhm.
too. And
Yeah.
about how Judith didn't want Carol to leave, but she knew that this was the only way that she had to, and that this is how she was going to find Daryl. It's funny, but in my brain, I'm thinking, man, Judith is probably everybody's leaving me to go find somebody else, and I have to wait here, as these people go off to go do whatever it is they got to
Yeah,
do.
I'm surprised we haven't seen her in like a trunk or the back seat of a car or something. With Carol, she came along for the ride.
Right, right. Oh, that
She's
would
that
be
type of girl.
fun.
Yeah.
Yes, that would have been fun, actually. That would have been fun to watch her.
Yeah.
Um, oh, wait, there was something. Oh, wait. There was something else that came to mind with the Judith thing. And when Daryl tells Carol, I never gave up on coming home to you.
Mhm.
And then he says, I made this deal, and things just kept getting in the way, and I couldn't.
Mhm.
And then she says something about you loved her, meaning Isabel. And I thought, wow, that was so
Mhm.
huge. I thought for her to say
Mhm.
that. He doesn't say anything. That's when he says, Laurent's coming back with us, right? Because I felt like that was that last hump for them, throughout this
Yeah.
whole episode. Like I said, because they went through different phases of their relationship with each other. And then finally it was like she had come through with that Dee Dee telling her, you're going to get through this. And I think that's
Mhm.
what she needed. And then Daryl maybe needed to witness that and other things in order to realize, yeah, Laurent needs to come home with us.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I thought it was a great journey for the both of them. And it was I really did enjoy this episode. But in getting to that, it all started at the beginning when she's going to be shot and become a super zombie. So what did you think of that whole beginning sequence?
Well, we all knew Carol would survive, but how was the big question, which a lot of people always, oh, we know she survives. Yeah, but you don't always know how. So it's
Right.
fun to watch, whatever. And it wasn't it that guy that had to eat the stew off the ground who she hid behind?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I thought that, well, I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but I thought that was hilarious. But anyway, I just really enjoyed that little extra piece there. So yeah, it was just so cool, because we always know Carol she figures her way out of everything. And then I love when she jumps on that Jeep with padrones tied to it and she's taken
Yeah.
off. Yeah, so it was just fun to see all that. I just like, yeah, all that action. It was like, she's just being Carol, I guess, that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And I love that she rescued Cadrone because there probably were other vehicles she could take. I mean, there were several vehicles there, but I would love that she took him, and that I just love that he's still on Laurent's side. He's telling her,
Yeah.
go, go. Like she saved him, and he's like, you go, I got this. Tell Dixon I did
Yeah.
this for him or the boy or whatever he said. Yeah, for the boy. And so whatever reason, that probably just being a child, maybe like just kind of
Yeah.
hits home or something for some reason. Maybe he had kids or has kids or something. And so I loved all that action, and it was just crazy to see how fast everybody turned. And because she got accidentally shot with one, didn't she? Get like one of them in her
Yes.
too?
And she
Yeah,
was
so I was like,
able to
oh
get it
no,
out
yeah,
of
he
her.
was able to get it
Yeah.
off quick. Yeah, because I was like, no. because I think we didn't know what it would do to a human, we'll
Right,
learn later,
right.
but
Yeah.
with Genet. But yeah, so I loved it. I thought it was a great way to get her back in action and show us all, the cool stuff Carol can do, remind us of all that.
I love that. I loved it too. I was so glad that they started where they left off last
Mhm.
episode. They
Yes.
didn't skip it.
Mhm.
And I thought, how the heck is she gonna get out of
Mhm.
this?
I
And
know.
with them all on the ground, I got scared because I'm thinking
Mhm.
these guys are fast, right? They're not just like gonna like
Yeah.
slowly get up. I mean, she's gonna have to move. And the thing is they know, you know, they can smell them or
Mhm.
whatever and see them. And then she gets up and I'm like, oh my God, Karen, you're gonna get how are you gonna get out of this? So I loved it how she hopped on. But I have to tell you, I busted out laughing when she takes off and they're all chasing that Jeep or whatever vehicle it was. I mean, I was laughing both times. I mean, like laughing because it's so funny because they're wild. Their
Yeah,
leg,
their
yeah,
their arms and everything. Yeah.
yes. And they're running fast. And it
Very
was
fast.
so funny because Caudron's all, what are you doing? Stop it. Like his panic, like, get in the car, start it again, let's go, and she stops because the gate is closed. And then right then they open the gate from a main
Explosion.
place that,
Yeah.
yeah, that they're at, it explodes. Oh, perfect. And then they go in.
Yeah.
Of course, Carol doesn't get shot, hit by any of those shots coming straight at her with no windshield. So I don't know how
Yeah.
she didn't get shot, but I'm okay. I'm
She's
okay with it.
Carol. Yeah.
Yeah, she's Carol.
It's
I
called plot
also
armor.
yes, I like that. I like it. I also thought, why didn't any of those walkers turn to get Genet's people? Like,
Mhm.
why did they all of them chase
Because
here
she
when
maybe because she was moving, because they're attracted to
I
sound and
guess.
moving. It's heightened
Yeah.
with these whatever. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes,
So,
that was pretty comical.
yeah, it was
To
very
watch.
comical.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and I do love Cadrone in this, and that you
Yeah.
were anticipating, are we gonna get to see him again? Yeah, he was gonna be this, bait for
Yeah.
all these walkers. So, man, did you notice that Janae, all she did was smile through the whole thing? Like, she could
That's
have
what I
cared
that's
less
no, she has
about them.
nothing. Like, yeah, watching that her husband get killed just like transformed her into the ice queen. She has
Yes.
nothing. There's nothing. Yeah, it's just crazy how she is, and yeah, and her smile is very sadistic. It's like, oh my god,
Yes.
yeah.
It is.
And I've watched her in interviews, and she's just such the sweet, cutest little thing when she's just talking and stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
man, she can really act.
Yeah. In talking about Genet, and I was thinking about something that she said to Losang because she does tell him, like, don't think about a future because you don't have one.
Mhm.
So we see Losang in this, in which I thought that he was
Mhm.
going to be the one to die
Mhm.
probably in this episode, and she was the one who was going to continue her reign. That's what I thought was going to happen, but it switched. It switched here, which I thought was genius. What did you think about Losang and everything that he signifies and
Mhm.
his
Yeah,
doings,
I
etc.?
agree because I did see a spoiler before I finished the episode because I had been traveling, so I didn't get to watch it ahead of time. So I did see where two people died, and so that I was like, oh, I thought Isabel and Lestang. That's who I thought
Yeah.
it would be. So yeah, so I was surprised that it wasn't him. But he's got all those followers, but at the same time, he is no Genet. You know what I mean? He's not as evil. Like he might be kind of losing his mind or something because he does act very crazy. Some of the things he says and does, and he's so obsessed with Laurent and what he thinks he can do, kind of thing. But I just feel like like was it Sabine and Jacinta? I think maybe her name. Like they shared a look. I don't know if you saw that, but
Oh,
Sabine looked at her. There was a
okay.
look exchange between those two, and I felt like this was their plan somehow. This like there was some sort of plan all along. I think I've mentioned it before that I just feel like
Yeah.
there's some other thing going on, and so
Yeah.
I kind of just shared a very brief look. And went right when Lo Sing was talking in the group, and talking to everybody about forgiveness, everything's forgiven and everything and all that. And they just kind of look at each other. So I was like, what was up there? But anyway, so I just feel like there's someone else calling the shots that he's got the following, people are listening to him, they respect him. But I mean, he's still obsessed with getting Laurent. He wants to get this kid bit and
Yeah.
see what happens. And I just, yeah, it's like an obsession with him now. And he's just got to, feels that's going to fix everything, I guess. But yeah, he's kind of unhinged at this point, I think.
He totally is because he uses things that happen, circumstances to say as if God is directing everything, but it all falls in his favor, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
anything that happens, it's falling in his favor. Oh, like I thought maybe, God took me away from him and that's why, but no, it was because of you, of
Mm-hmm.
Genet. It was Genet.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he's, was taken away. So
Mm, yeah.
it's always, he's manipulates what he sees to fit his
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
agenda, which is crazy.
Like
It's just
any good
crazy.
cult leader does.
I know exactly, exactly, right? So, yeah, I thought that was like,
Yeah.
yeah. And he killed Isabel. I mean,
Yeah.
he killed her. It's like crazy that he just did that. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
wow. So that was shocking that he would
Yeah.
do that to her. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe he thought she would live. I don't know because Janae comes and says, "Oh yeah, we found the nun. She's not going to be able to tell us anything anymore."
Yeah.
Kind of looks at her like, "Oh man, I
Oh.
guess I killed her." You know?
Yeah.
Yes, you do. You've got blood on your hands, buddy. So that'll be interesting what
Yes.
we see next. All right. So I was surprised to not see Laurent in this episode. I would say
Yeah.
that was a big surprise to me. I
Yeah.
kept waiting. I
I
really
know.
was
Yeah.
waiting. I'm like, are we going to see
Gonna
him? We're
show
going to see him.
up.
And they did not show him.
Mhm.
So I actually missed him. So
Yeah.
in revisiting our question of the day about what character do you think Laurent would connect with most back at home and why? I don't really have an answer, but I'm going to come up with one. I'm going to let you give your
Okay.
answer.
So I think it would be Judith because I think he would be impressed with a child about his age, around, they're about the same age. She's a lot smaller than he is, and because he's a pretty tall kid, and things like that. And so I think he would see this tiny little girl who is a survivor, and she's fierce and she's not afraid of anything. And I think that he would just be very intrigued by that, like he is with Daryl. He has that hero worship of Daryl because Daryl
Yeah.
can fight and Daryl can do these things. And so I
Yeah.
feel like him and Judith would just, and of course Judith, she's always very accepting of everybody. She'd just bring him right into their little group and be ready to show him whatever she knows, like she has with the other children. So I just think that would be a fun little relationship. And I think that they would get on really well. And I think he would be just really impressed with her because he's not in those skills. I mean, Daryl's taught him a
Right.
little bit, but she's lived it her whole life. So that's who I thought.
Yeah. Well, of course, for me, I originally thought Judith, but only
Mm-hmm.
because of age. Age,
Mm-hmm.
is what I thought. And Judith is so open and she's so
Mm-hmm.
brave and she's a really good person. And
Yeah.
so I really like Judith so much. So I thought, that would be easy. But I was trying to think of an adult
Mm-hmm.
that would relate to him. And there are a lot of them, like a lot of them
Mm-hmm.
come to mind. But the very first one that just popped in my brain that I didn't really give much thought. And then after I thought about it, I'm like, this could work is Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why, but I feel because Jerry kind of has a good heart about him, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like Laurent could relate to that and see that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought, oh, that would be fun to see him and Laurent get along
Mm-hmm.
in the Commonwealth. So, oh, even Ezekiel. See, everybody's popping
Mm-hmm.
into my brain. I'm
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
Sean, all kinds of people.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It would be great. I just would love to see it. I would hope that we could
Yeah.
see it somehow, but I don't know that we'll ever get to see that. But
Yeah.
it
Hard to
would be
say.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be fun to see. Okay, friends out there, what do you think? We would love to know your answer to this question. What character do you think Laurent will connect with most back home and why? And you can reach out to us on social media. You can comment here on YouTube, and you can even call us at 669 223 8542 because we would love to hear your answer. All right, we are at our segment, and the award goes to. So, Renee, what was your favorite quote, character, or moment?
I have to go with Cadrone protecting Carol. I have this weird thing with him. Like, I know he was a horrible person to start out and stuff, but he had that change of heart because of the kid or whatever. I don't know if it's we'll learn more about that if there whatever, like a backstory for him and he had kids and lost them, or I don't know. But I just really like that he's kind of changed. He's still tough and, he's still himself, but
Yeah.
he, has the child in mind. And so I love that he protected Carol and just was ready and willing to go out there with those super guys, and who knows, what would happen with him and all that. So I just thought that was just a fun moment, for him to protect Carol like that.
It was very cool. Very cool. I'm so glad that we got to see him again.
Yeah.
Okay, so you all know how much I love Carol and Daryl, and I would pick them over and over again. I got chills, I got tears. Actually, when I watched it the second time, I actually got tears with Isabel and Daryl. So I'm actually going to give that moment to
Mhm.
them because it's Isabel's last moment. And
Mhm.
I thought she was a great character. She's a great actress. I love when people, not that I want them to die, but they die with what they believe wholeheartedly, and
Mhm.
they're going to protect what they need to protect. And so if you can go out in that way, that's the best way on The Walking Dead or any spin-offs to go
Yep.
out, is protecting the ones that you love. And for her to say "Je t'aime" to Daryl
Mhm.
as she was dying and to tell him about the fireflies. Yep. I
Yeah, I
had
love
I had tears. So
that.
I would say that moment really, really moved me. So,
Mhm.
but I really enjoyed this whole episode. So, what are your thoughts on what's coming up? Like, what do you think is going to happen next? Do you have any
Yeah,
thoughts on
I
it?
just don't know. I'm like even watching the trailer, the little clip of what's coming. It was good to see Ash though. He was there. That doesn't mean he's gonna
Yes.
live. Doesn't mean he's gonna last long. But we did see a clip of him. So I was like, oh, okay, he's still alive at this point.
Yeah.
But I just hope if he does die, we see something, because I don't want it just to be like, oh, there's another character we never hear from again. But it's really difficult, with just 2 episodes left. They're trying to push this new big bad into there. I mean, it's going to go quick, whatever does happen. But I just don't have a lot of predictions because it really, the season has already kind of been all over the place, where we like
Yeah.
lost, Genet when we did, oh, wow, that was not a thing people thought, and that kind of stuff. And, Laurent's still missing. And is he just with Fayu, or is he, is there another person, or was that a walker walk? Who knows what was happening. So yeah, there's just a lot of up in the air things that they've got to tie up here in 2 episodes. So it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to see.
Oh, man, I don't know what's going to happen. I also saw in the previews, we saw that woman that was at that,
But
what was the name of that place? I can't even remember
yeah,
the name of the place right now. That bar type of place. I
yeah.
can't even think of what it is, but that they show her again. And
Mhm.
I'd forgotten about her. And I thought, oh,
Yeah,
that's cool. So they're going to somehow revisit that place, or she's going to be
yeah.
around. And and then she says something to them that I can't quite remember what
Mhm.
it is, but it's basically what people will do, I
Yeah,
think,
yeah.
to that effect.
And she
So,
was featured in one of the original teasers, now that you say that, and she said, "Daryl Dixon, you're still alive," and he says something like, "For now," or something, or something like that. So I remember, now that you've said that, I was like, "Oh yeah, she was
yeah,
featured in one of the early teasers." So yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So the Demimonde, wasn't that what it was? Was that
What was it called?
the Demimonde? Was that what it was called? That just popped in
Maybe.
I
Yeah,
something.
maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but it was Laurent's dad who was,
Yes.
he was running it with her,
Yes.
who was his girl or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it'll be neat to, so that, I mean, it looked like they were in that, place. So that means they're back in, Paris. And so it'll be interesting to see.
It will be. You're right. 2 episodes. What are they gonna do? And well, we know they're gonna try and look for Laurent. Now, I would love it if Laurent would show a touch of miraculous something, you know?
Yeah.
That would be,
I
like,
mean, yeah.
so much
Mhm.
fun.
Mhm.
That I hope that they do something where you're kinda, like, guessing, like, "Wait, did that happen, or was it just that?"
Mhm.
I hope they leave us guessing a little bit. I'm not talking about guessing, like, plot-wise or character-wise,
Yeah.
but just
Give us a
ability-wise. I
hint of
just
something.
hope,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
that could
that
be,
would,
I mean, honestly, that could be a really good way for them to segue why they have to leave, and go to Spain, because, people are going to, if there is this like even hint of something miraculous, they're going to come after him. They're going to
Yeah.
continue that, and then it might
Yeah.
drive them to Spain or something. I don't know. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's a really, yeah, that would be cool. So
Okay, well, stay tuned. We have 2 more episodes to, talk about. I love it. All right, so this concludes our conversation on Daryl Dixon, episode 4. Actually, I do wanna say one last thing. We got to see who the person was that let Daryl out, and it wasn't a kid and it wasn't a woman, it was a guy, and I don't even know who he was,
we
whose
both got
side
it
he was
wrong, I
on.
guess.
I
Yeah,
know.
some kid, some
Well, we couldn't,
I
it
don't
was
know.
so all I saw was the hair.
I know.
Short,
Very,
curly-ish
yeah,
hair. I thought it was gonna be somebody more, but,
yeah,
no.
but just a scared guy running.
Yes, exactly.
Understandably
Oh,
so, yeah.
okay, you know what was funny? Was that that walker came and was, "Ah, ah," and then it was like, "Oh, I give up, I can't get in," and then it
Yeah.
takes off. It was so funny. It's like,
Well, I think
"Ah,
it was
okay."
probably because the guy there, they were the, well, I think it was the people from the nest were actually there with their guns and stuff. So maybe
Ah,
he smelled them and thought, oh, okay, I've got better chance on this side of the gate. I don't know. But yeah, it was funny because I'm like, what's happening?
yeah, yeah, it was funny. All right. So we're going to move on to our TV and movie recommendations. So, Renee, what do you have for us this week?
So I actually watched new things this time, and I watched a Netflix movie called Girl Haunts Boy. And I watched it because Peyton List, I think is her name. She was in this other
Oh,
series. She was in School Spirits. Did you watch that?
she, okay, but I don't know if you don't watch it. She's in Cobra Kai.
Oh, you know what? I did see that on IMDb. I didn't even think to tell you that one. Okay, so she's in that, but I like her. So I've watched her. This is the second
Ooh,
thing that
you
I've
should.
seen her in. I know, I know. I need that. It's on my giant list that you've given me for homework. I will. But anyway, so it's called Girl Haunts Boy, Peyton List from school, and then she was in a series on Netflix here that did get renewed for a second season called School Spirits,
Uh,
and it's about these kids who have died like in the school, and so then they come back and stuff, but they can't leave the school and all this. But it's a really good series. It's a cute, just a teen coming of age kind of that kind of series, but it was really good. But I liked her a lot in that. So when I saw she was in this, I was like, well, I want to see this. And then Michael Cimino, I'm not sure if that's, it's Cimino. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but he was in Never Have I Ever, which I haven't watched, but I really liked the two of them together.
oh,
And so
yes.
he moves to a new house, and her name's B. And I guess I always hate to say too much. I'm trying to think how much I can say without giving
Yeah.
away anything. I guess it's not really giving anything away, but she's a ghost, and that's her house. And so then he moves into the house, and then it's just there what happens next. But it was really cute. And again, a more of a kind of coming of age, I suppose, or that, I guess not necessarily, well, maybe coming of age, I guess. But it was a more teen oriented kind of movie. But it
Yeah.
was very cute. I liked it a lot. So that one was really good. And then on your recommendation, I watched Lonely Planet, right? Is that the right? Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
Laura Dern and Liam Hemsworth, and it was just a really good romance, and it wasn't predictable like a lot of them. Which
Yeah.
I watched a couple recently that have been very unpredictable, and it's just so refreshing because I don't sit there. I love it when I like watch, especially like a rom com. You're like, oh, here this comes or whatever, and it's
Yes.
different than
Yes.
what you think, and that's how I felt this
Yeah.
one was. And I know it didn't get a lot of great reviews, but I know you enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed it. So I recommend you see it if you
Yeah.
like romance and things.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
those are the
Exactly.
two. Yeah, those are the two new things I watch, and then I go through my Halloween watching thing. So I watched Coraline, the whole thing for the first time. My daughter loves it, and so she's always watched it, but I've never like sat down and watched the
I
entire
haven't.
thing.
Yeah.
It's really good. Yeah, it's a very interesting story, and so that was really good. And then I love the Addams Family. It's the animated one from 2019, and it's just such a cute animation style, and it's just so fun. I love Addams Family. They're just so goofy, and all these things happen. So that one was really good too. I recommend if you haven't watched that, watch that. I think there's a second one also, if I remember correctly. And then I rewatched these, and those, I guess I hadn't watched either one of those, but I rewatched Halloween one with Rob Zombie's Halloween. So I am a huge Halloween fan, and people always ask about the Rob Zombie ones because they're different. And I'm like, you just have two movies as standalone movies. They're his interpretation of Michael Myers' story, and the only thing I don't like about them is that it gives Michael a backstory, and that's like
Mm.
Michael Myers. Michael's just crazy. He just does the things he does. That's what he does. But it's just someone else's interpretation of it, and very well done, scary and fun, and very traditional Halloween, a lot of that stuff, and great actors in it and stuff. So I just really enjoy it. So that was a rewatch, but that's my Halloween ones.
Awesome. I love it. So the movie Girl Haunts Boy, is it a brand new movie? Do you know?
I
Or if it's just kind of
Yeah,
recent?
it just came out recent because I think it popped up at the top of my Netflix thing, and I'm like, oh, that's that
Ah,
girl. And so I clicked on that because I recognized her face, and then
yeah.
I was like, well, I have to watch this thing because I just think she's just really a good little actor. And I guess not little, she's
Yeah.
probably an adult. I don't know, but she's
Yeah,
just
she
really
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a great actress, and I really just enjoyed her in that School Spirits series, and so that's why I clicked on it, and then I thought, well, I better check it out.
Yeah. She plays like the bully in Cobra Kai for a while.
Ah,
Yeah. So
interesting.
she's yeah. She's gone through some things though, which they explore.
Mhm.
But yeah, I love Cobra Kai, so go watch Cobra
Yeah,
Kai, everybody. It's one of my favorite shows.
yes.
I'm a Karate Kid fan, so Cobra Kai
Mhm.
just is up my alley. Love the show. It's funny,
And
it's
one
fun, so watch it. Yeah.
uh
What?
one
What were you
cute
gonna say?
thing in The Girl Hunts Boy, she plays a character from the 1920s, so she dresses like that and stuff, yeah, so
Oh,
it's that part's a lot of I always love a good costume, so yeah,
yeah.
that's another thing, so anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, I only have a couple because I watch all my reality TV shows and they're like bursting at the seams right now. So I'm The Voice, Dancing with the Stars, Survivor, all those. So I'm watching all of those. Oh, and Love is Blind, the
Mhm.
next portion
Oh,
drops.
yeah.
I was watching that. But what I do want to recommend to everyone is Lincoln Lawyer is back on Netflix. I love this series. It's so good. I was reminded that it's a David E. Kelly written or produced show. So it's just really well done. I just love it. It's great.
Mhm.
The acting is great. The stories are great. It's just very entertaining. So you can catch that on Netflix. And then I went to the movies and I watched Smile 2. So I had seen Smile 1 and I liked it.
Mhm.
Smile 2, yeah, kind of raises the bar. It's really well done about a pop star. Naomi Scott portrays Sky Riley, and she is incredible in this role as this pop star. And you really kind of get to dive into pop star life. Like we see
Mhm.
her dancing, we see her singing, we see her struggle. Again, this is not going to give that much away, me telling you this, but it starts off with that it's her comeback because a year prior, she was in a, car accident with her
Mhm.
boyfriend or a guy, I don't know if it was her boyfriend, but and he dies. And he was
Oh.
driving and he dies, and she was severely injured, and she, had been using alcohol and drugs and such previously, and so now she's been sober, so now she's coming back as a comeback, and her mom's her, like, agent, and she has this other guy that helps her. Anyway, so that's her story, and you learn all about this in a horror. Like, who does this, right?
Yeah.
You and I have talked about horror and having stories and having emotional connections.
Mhm.
This one totally does, and I think that's why it's really well done because you
Mhm.
really want to see, you really want her to survive or you want her to win or you want her to, whatever it is. But if you know anything about Smile, it's about this entity using people as hosts and basically bringing out all their worst fears, and there's a death that occurs and the host transfers from one body to another. And so it's very I don't know, it's very scary.
Yeah.
It's scary, but it's well done. I really enjoyed it. So, do you have any plans to see it, Renee? I know you
Yeah,
like to watch
I
horror.
I love the first one. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed the first one. And my husband, he went. We've been apart, traveling separate areas, and so he got to see it already, and he was like, "Oh my
Nice.
gosh, yeah!" So he loved it. Yeah, but he'll watch it again with me. So yeah, I'm very excited to see this one. So
Okay, cool. I'm so glad.
yep.
So those are my recommendations for you, but I do want to remind you that we have Screams in Focus. We just dropped our 4th episode on Tuesday. We have 4 episode Halloween series that concentrate on horror, TV, and movies. So please go check that out because we have a lot of fun discussing
Mhm.
all these things. And Renee has hosted on a couple of those. So please check them out. And yeah, and let us know what you're watching because we would love to know what you're watching this Halloween season. Again, you can call us at 669-223-8542 or always comment here or on social media. And please remember to follow Screens in Focus. Okay, Renee, thank you so much for being here today.
Of course, always a pleasure. I love it, love it, love it. It's always so much fun.
I have to give a shout out again to you and your writing and Undead Walking. Please just share that real quick, and then I'll
Yep.
put it in the link in the show
All
notes.
right, thank you. Yep. So I am the editor and writer for Undead Walking, and we cover everything in the Walking Dead universe from spin-offs to what the actors are doing, or if someone's having a baby or someone, whatever, we try to cover like a lot of different areas. And so yeah, check it out at undeadwalking.com.
And in saying that, you reminded me, isn't in Smile 2 another actor, Kyle Gallner,
Yes,
right?
Kyle Gallner
Yeah.
is actually a screen king now. He's officially called that. And follow him on social media. He's really fun. So things on his dog, like Instagram, his dog. But then he's got this other movie, Dinner in America, and I haven't watched it yet, but it's like one that it's very near and dear to his heart. And I think it's an indie film and stuff. But anyways, yeah. But he was in season, I forget what season it was now. It's when he was four. Was it four when they went to the grocery and or
Yeah, when
five?
they
No,
went to the or the
yes,
that
yes, that whatever, and he's the one who's asking Daryl, like, "What were you, before the outbreak? I think you were a cop, or something." He says something along that
yes,
line, and Daryl
yes.
just kind of lets him believe it. So that was him in his Walking Dead. But he was also way back. He was in The Haunting in Connecticut. He was the boy who had cancer in that movie. So he's like the
Oh,
main character in that movie. But he's gone his Strange Darling. He's in that. And, he's in a lot of horror.
yeah.
He was in one of the
Wow.
more recent Scream movies and things. So yeah, they kind of call him, he's a Scream. But anyway, yes, he is in Smile. He was in the first one also. So yeah,
Yeah,
check him out.
yeah. So, yeah, that's awesome. See, I knew you would know that. That's why we go to Renee for everything, and that's why you should go to Renee for everything too. Make
Thank
sure
you.
you subscribe. But yes, I
No.
do that because I get those emails direct into my email inbox, and I get 3 short stories that are fun to read. So I enjoy that. So I can keep up to date. All right. Well, again, thank you, Renee. And thanks to all of you for tuning in. We are grateful you joined us today. We hope something that we said today resonated with you, gave you a smile, a chuckle, some inspiration. Please don't forget to subscribe to Screens in Focus at screensinfocus.com. Please follow us. Please give us a call. We would love to hear from you. And remember to keep watching, keep exploring, and keep those screens in focus. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.